So, in honor of the upcoming election, as well as the World Cup and FIFA Club World Cup happening in the United States, I decided to make a video answering the question on everyone's minds, being what would be the starting 11 for U.S. presidents if they were to play a soccer match, all right, or just play in a league, whatever it may be. What would be the team? All right. So before we get into that, let me set some ground rules. All right. We will be using a 4-3-3 lineup just because I feel like that would be the easiest to grasp from any perspective, from a more hardcore fan perspective to a casual perspective to a perspective of someone who just doesn't know what's going on. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that we will be using the presidents in their athletic prime. We will not be using presidents in their current form because although it would be really funny, we're not going to be doing that with a bunch of old people because a lot of these guys they're not going to stand a chance against Ronaldo and Holland and all these other guys. All right, they're just not okay. But for those of you who are curious what that lineup will look like, it looks like this. All right, and this is a 4-3-3 lineup for those of you wondering. All right. I also had to include some vice presidents because, of course, we unfortunately do not have enough presidents alive to fill up this entire lineup. And, of course, with the upcoming 2024 election, I decided to put whoever the next vice president as the number one choice goalkeeper. Now, of course, some honorable mentions need to be mentioned. All right, these are some presidents who, although they had some very impressive stunts in their athletic peak, they unfortunately were edged out by someone else in a certain position. Honorable mentions go to Theodore Roosevelt, who was an absolute tank. Like, look up this boy's like athletic history, dude. Like, he was an actual tank, dude. And James Garfield, I remember, and William McKinley. Those guys I remember specifically being really athletic individuals, but were edged out for one reason or another. So first of all, the goalkeeper. Now this may be surprising to some of you if you recall the current president's lineup, but I'm actually putting the goalkeeper position in the hands of Barack Obama. That's right, Barack Obama, president number 44, I think. 44. Yep. He was a college basketball prospect. This boy loved basketball. He even played in the NBA 2010 All-Star Celebrity Game. Does that mean much? Probably not, but he played in the NBA, bro. Like, this boy can jump, all right? This boy knows how to grab balls, all right? He knows how to grab them. He was named the most athletic U.S. president by Sports Illustrated. Does that mean much? Again, probably not, but he's our best hope, all right? He's our best hope at guarding the net, all right? And of course, as you can see right here, he is eager to pounce on enemy attacks, and he was a low-key gym rat. He was a low-key gym rat in the White House, all right? So you already know he takes his job seriously. Next up, on the defense. At left back, I decided to put Ronald Reagan, which I personally feel like is just a perfect position for Ronald Reagan in the number two position. Of course, being a absolute monster in football, he destroyed college football just by existing. He was offered a contract with the Chicago Bears, dude. This dude would have been an NFL player if it wasn't for the fact that he got an injury and then he started acting. Straight up, bro. Straight up. He has great performances against the Soviets, and of course, football, soccer, is as much of an on-field game as it is an off-field game. All right, in the dressing room, always breaks the tension with jokes. It's exactly the type of energy we need if we're gonna go up against these heavy hitters such as Manchester City and Real Madrid. Next up, at the right back, I decided to put George W. Bush. Now, this boy was a rugby player at Yale. What is rugby? I don't really know. I know it's kind of like American football, so yeah, that kind of works for the right back. He is very good at running, which if you're gonna be right back, you're gonna be doing a lot of running. Next up, we got Abraham Lincoln. Oh wait, hold on, wait. Before we move on to Abraham Lincoln, I do have to give George W. Bush his credit where credit is due. He was named one of the most athletic presidents by Sports Illustrated before Obama, which I didn't include here because I forgot. But I think it's worth mentioning. So you already know our right back is in good hands. Now, next up, a face that we all know and love, we have Abraham Lincoln. Now, as you can see right here in the center back, I decided to give him the vice captain role. Now, who is going to be the captain? I think most of you probably already know, but we'll keep that a secret for those of you who don't. Now, because of the fact that he has a very, very strong argument to be the GOAT of presidents. I decided to give him the vice captain role. He is a very, very powerful presence in the defense. Of course, being 6'4", being an absolute unit, all right? Now, not only is he just large, all right? This man is very physical. He spent a lot of time in his youth doing like axe labor stuff. Like that's hard, all right? He unites the defense in desperate times of need. Also, he was apparently a really good wrestler, which is like that's an insane record, bro. Imagine, dude. Dude, like that must have been like a bear, dude. That must have been like a bear that fucked him up. That must have been his only loss. Oh, that's funny. That's a funny thought. All right, next up, Dwight D. Eisenhower in the center back position next to Abraham Lincoln. Of course, this boy was a army general. He was a low-key gym rat. He liked swimming, and he was a standout linebacker and halfback at West Point University, which for those of you who don't know, that's American football, which means that he's a good attacking player. He's very good at tackling, which is what we need at the center back position. Now, moving on to the midfielders. Of course, at the number 6 position, the central defensive midfielder, George H.W. Bush, which you might be wondering, that's a very strange decision to give him the vice captain role. Well, in this case, I'm making him the third choice captain, but whatever. Now, that is because he was the only president who has canonically played soccer at any level, all right? Like there's probably some record of like some other president playing soccer at some like other point in their life, but this boy played soccer in university. He's the only one that's actually played soccer at some competitive level, which and he was the soccer captain, mind you. Soccer captain at Yale. Was Yale any good? Probably not, but he was the captain of them. All right, meaning that he needs to be given at least some credit when it comes to this team. And I also decided, because he understands soccer probably significantly more than a lot of these other guys, I decided to give him the hardest role in the entire team, being the CDM. All right, next up, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was an all-around athlete. He loved playing football, baseball, and basketball at Georgia Tech. He was a lieutenant, and this guy moved. He cycled 12 miles at the age of 90. That's crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy. I never even... And also, he's really nice. And of course, the GOATs. At least in my personal opinion, I'm sorry if you're a Lincoln fan. George Washington. We're giving him the CAM role or the central mid role if you want to move him around or whatever. He's very versatile. And now he has power. George Washington has power. All right, he has those kicks. All right, he's a military captain. He knows how to control a force. If you know how to control a force, you can score some bangers. All right, there's a very strong correlation with that. And here's the thing, right? The main thing, this boy enjoyed swimming in the Potomac River for fun, as a just something to do on his leisure. All right, which for those of you who don't know, which I was one of you at some point, I didn't know what the Potomac River was. I looked it up. I saw this. This shit's insane. All right, he probably got a concussion off of that. Like the Potomac River is no joke. Granted, if you look at Potomac River, you also see this. So, I don't know. It depends on everyone's perspective. Now, on to the meat and potatoes, the attackers. On the number 7, the left wing, we got John F. Kennedy. This boy swam 50 miles. Dude, what? I forgot I wrote that down. That's crazy, dude. Swimming 50 miles? Like, did he ever stop? Dude, what? Okay. So yeah, he played football, squash, and tennis at Harvard. Not only did he play all these games, but he was very smart because he went to Harvard. He was a naval reserve lieutenant. What does that mean? I don't know, but he was in the military, and you have to do some crazy shit to be in the military. This boy was a gym rat. He was named most athletic president in sports history, which there's a lot of those, but he was one of them. He was one of them, and of course he scores absolute worldies. We wouldn't have him on the left wing if he couldn't. Now, on the right wing, a bit of a controversial pick, Joe Biden. But here's the thing. When you look into his story, bro got a scholarship to play in university football. That's crazy. He was known for his speed and agility in lacrosse. That's exactly what we need in the right wing. That's exactly what we were missing. Joe Biden is the perfect piece to be able to move the ball onto the fucking net, bro. Score worldies, bro. That's exactly what we need. Sharing it over to the striker if need be. That's exactly what we need from Joe Biden. All right. And of course, he would work out early in the morning while vice president. Shows his dedication, a lot of experience. That's exactly what we need on the team. Considering on the left, we have John F. Kennedy, which is a more young player. We needed some experience in the front third alongside the striker Gerald Ford, which might seem like a bit of a strange choice until you realize this guy's a fucking bear, dude. He is tall. He is incredibly tall. He is chunky. Not like fat, but like he is like just massive, bro. This guy's pure fucking muscle. All right, he would be sort of like an Osman type of um of striker, right? Just a massive presence right in the fucking net, bro. Like this boy was a star center and linebacker at the University of Michigan, and he was offered contracts by two NFL teams. I didn't know that. That's cool. All right, and he was also in the military. You have to do some crazy shit to be in the military. And yeah, this is what the lineup would look like. Of course, uh, yeah, having everyone in their positions. Washington, although he is playing more of an attacking role than Carter, he could play more defensive, in the sense where like he's just passing the ball over to Biden realistically, or to Ford to help them score the goals. But yeah, that's that. Here's what the team would look like in a two striker system. Of course, having Kennedy and Biden up front instead of Ford may seem like a bit controversial to some, but personally, I think Ford is just too much of a presence, to share it with somebody. I feel like Kennedy and Biden up front would make more sense. If you want, you could have Ford instead of Kennedy, put Kennedy in the middle, because I think Biden up front makes too much sense. But yeah, that's that. And then, of course, if you want to play more of a Manchester City 4-1-4-1, you could just put Bush as the 6, Ford at the 9, and then everyone else in their respective positions. And for those of you wondering, these are what the kits would look like. This would be the home kit, some of the most popular, most sold kits on the team. And this will be the away kits. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go vote. Make sure you comment down below who you guys are voting for, unless you are not a U.S. citizen, which you are not allowed to vote for anyone. But it would be really fun if you did. But don't do that because that's illegal, and I do not support voter fraud.